Hello, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Pastoral Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, I am excited each and every time I come on to share a guest with you who is expert in their field. I am blessed and grateful to do what I do. And with me today is a very special guest. My guest today is Christine A. Smith. She is an author. She is a writer. She wrote 3 books, The Act of Aging, Caregiver Kit, PreAct Your Age Prompted Journal. She is also an aging enthusiast, geropreneur, Christine was hired to provide caregiving in nearly 100 private residencies last decade. Family members would ask for recommendations to help their loved ones and themselves. Christine, wish she knew better, answers for questions about topics about safety, enrichment, support, encouragement, solutions, and education. Christine started Aspects of Aging podcast. I have been on it twice. It's an excellent show with experts. I highly recommend watching it, which is on her website. It's a platform of experts discussing and addressing issues of aging, caring, and general longevity. Her business website is agingbetternetwork.com, and the name of her business is PreAct Your Age. I want to welcome the wonderful Christine A. Smith to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome,
my
Christine.
Goodness. You know, the audience is just clapping, going, we have no idea what this lady is going to say, but if Betsy invited her, there's got to be something good.
Excellent guest. I was on your show twice. You do have experts on your show. You are just, your history. Like, don't we all wish we knew better, right? Way back when. I wish I knew better. I wish there was Christine A. Smith doing a show 24 years ago, even 14 years ago. But there wasn't, and we had to learn by ourselves, didn't we, Christine?
And everyone has felt that way. That you've probably heard it several times, people going, I just stumbled into it because there was a need, and I thought, there's got to be a better way. There should be support. Why hasn't someone written about this? And all these people quietly were saying the same things and trying to get together, and voila, we're finding each other.
Yes, and I'll tell you, Christine, I'm sure you have found this also, but it's been my experience. When I started on Pastoral Talk Radio Network 6 years ago, it was on Jeannie White's show. She had a show for caregivers to come on to share their experience. They didn't want to come on. It was really difficult getting caregivers 6 years ago to speak up, and I am beyond thrilled now that there are people showing their journeys on all forms of social media. People with any kind of dementia, they're speaking up. People want to share now. They want to share their journeys, and I am grateful for that. The tide is turning. Hallelujah.
You wonder,
have you found that?
Some in the future look at this as a historical moment and go, how did this change? And I know one gentleman, Roger Anionson, says this is the second golden age of aging, or the golden whatever decade of aging that we've entered this. And I think it's because people are reaching out and finding out that those social taboos of if something isn't going right, hide it. Don't talk about it. You muddle through. You're intelligent. You'll figure it out. And it turns out, oh, wow, we could actually be having, all of us, our loved one and ourselves, a different, more robust quality of life if we just share with each other some great ideas we've come up with, or something that worked, or even invented or developed something that it's like, oh my goodness, you have saved me.
Yes. I am. Well, one of the reasons why I do my show is to provide people with resources that I wish I knew about in my youth, in my caregiving journey, because it would have helped me. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing resources. And Christine, you are a wonderful resource. And I say this all the time. If I'm going to read a book by someone about caregiving, I want it to be someone who's walked through the fire and came out the other side, because they know what they're talking about. It's not just head knowledge. They know it in their heart. They walk the walk. And that's just how I feel.
Very, very good. And we do have similarities. See, I got together with a university professor because someone saw me at a fundraiser and says, oh, you got to talk to this guy. He's written this book. And as we spoke, I realized he is learned. He has so much background and information. I said, there is an empty spot. There is a gap here. And, I mean, it took him back because I don't have anything after my name except that I finished college. I don't have all those alphabet letters. And I said,
me either.
Yeah. Oh, you've got RN, right?
No, I'm an LPN.
Oh, LPN. And I said the gap is where I was placed by a neighbor who said, you've got the right stuff. You should become a caregiver in private home situations. I said, you've been going into hallways, and I went into homes. So a part of it was navigating the family. And yes, it is dynamic. Everyone has a different way of approaching what's going on, we'll just say, with dad. And it's different than being in a hallway where everyone that's there has been hired to fulfill a position with their different personalities and their different ways of doing things. I said, all that you've collected, it's like it's a subculture of people receiving care in a hallway where many of the people have been there for many months or many years. And where I went in, where it's more difficult to collect research because a whole family would have to agree on it, is in the whole family dynamic of what about the grandkids, and how about, if an ex-wife wants to help with the caregiving, and what's that dynamic looking like, and siblings who are going, but the best thing is this, and the other sibling who's going, I'll have none of that. So I said that's one gap that I see in your research are the people that are continuing to live at home, which is a big deal, aging in place, and how do you do even when there's challenges. And I remember he was just looking at me, and I'm like, I'm going to watch for him to see if he comes up with a new book. It is more difficult to gain entrance into a private residence and have all those people agree, yes, you can get to know what it's like to age in place with family that kind of circles through, maybe lives in a different part of the house or just comes to visit at different times. So that's why I feel like I had a treasure put into my hands of being able to be around nearly 100 different people who were challenged by something in their later years, and how they handled it, what they taught me, how the families were learning to do that dance around this one person, or sometimes more than one, And I thought, this shouldn't die with me. Just because I'm not doing this as a job anymore, I should be able to share out with people who are beginning that journey and tell them, boy, these people are who you want to contact, or their companies, or, hop on to the course that they teach, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, now you've heard my passion for me being in a different. There are people who have worked as hired caregivers for many more years than I did. I don't know if any of them write books. I don't know if any of them have appeared on podcasts, except for my own and yours and a few others that I hear.
Yeah, they're eventually getting out there. I think I made a mistake, Christine, because I can't even read my own handwriting. It's CareGRIEVER Kit, not Caregiver Kit. CareGRIEVER Kit.
The title wrong too. CareGRIEVER Kit. And
that's
the reason why I wrote it that way, because as a hired caregiver, I was right in that person's realm, and I would grieve their loss either because they had gotten to a point where they could not even pronounce my name anymore, or because they had died. And I thought, there isn't anything for us. We are rarely invited to a funeral. We are losing someone that we've been hugging. It just, and so I kind of named it that way on purpose, because I wanted caregivers, even if you are not a relative or close friend that's come alongside, I wanted caregivers to know this is for you too. But it really is just recognizing your own grief as you continue to age, whether you're in your 40s or your 90s, and what you can practically do about it. Actual container, actual spot for it, actual items that you put into it, actually understanding your own person. How do I grieve? Do I drop into a depression? Do I tend to stuff it? Do I start yelling at people when I'm feeling the loss again? And knowing that, you know what, I got to reach into my own kit and provide for myself something that I kind of need at this moment. It's also going to help my kids to know I do have a plan for grieving in a healthy way, rather than grabbing a substance that will dull the pain, or pretending like it's not there, la, 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 fingers in ears, la, 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 I don't feel bad. Recognizing it in yourself, going, hey, I'm going to take this item that I placed into my kit, and I am going to let myself have a good cry. And it might be like a really pretty box of the best Kleenex, or it might be a photo album that always gets the tears flowing. And it can be some other things that either cheer you or help you to start being part of society again. It can be a gift card to yourself, whatever. I just give a list in there. So I kind of wrote it wrong on purpose. CareGRIEVER
That's okay. Kit. I like it. I like the name. And Christine, we could do a show, and maybe we should, just on that, just on life after caregiving, that hardly anyone talks about, although I have talked about it quite frequently on my show, about life after caregiving. And, people do know themselves. Society doesn't teach us how to grieve. They just, we're supposed to go on like nothing happened, which is not practical. And I've encountered person after person thinking and saying, I have to be strong. Why am I still crying? Why do I still miss that person? Well, let me tell you, folks, from my own experience, you don't have to be strong. You could cry if you want to. I still do at times. And the reality is, I will always love and miss my husband. I miss him more, not less. And that's the reality for me. And I have learned to integrate my grieving with my living. And I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed to still be here today talking to everyone after what I went through with caregiving. And to me, Christine, the best way I feel I can honor Matt is by doing my show and helping other people. And that's what I was meant to do. And I promised Matt when he was dying that I would continue on with my work. And I made that promise to him.
Thank you, Betsy, for just putting it out there. Being strong. Does that mean that the other people around us are uncomfortable with our continued sadness? And so now our job is supposed to be making them feel better or not making them feel anything that we feel. And I am preaching at myself that a person who has been given a chronic diagnosis talks about it a lot if they're that kind of person, or if the diagnosis is one that's just too gigantic to stuff down inside. And I'm thinking, you know what? Drop your shoulders, put your hands in your lap, listen, and don't worry about understanding or, saying, whew, you need to get on with something else. You need a distraction. Because what I'm really saying is, you're more fun to be around when I don't hear things that are kind of difficult, less savory or, whatever. So I'm really glad that you've been upfront with that. And I always relate people like you and I to whoever started MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. My guess is that it was a mother of a young person who was alive one moment and then gone because it. And what did they do? They created a cause. They gave people a voice. They said, you know what? I'm always going to be mad. And I'm going to do something about it so that other people do not have to grieve in this way alone. So, you're right. It could be a whole nother talk episode on living life after caregiving, and that it isn't, you should be relieved you don't have to do that anymore. I just stepped to locally be a driver that the nonprofit, the charity, can contact me and say, could you please go to this address, pick up this person, and bring them to their appointment or take them shopping, which is going to expose me to people who cannot bring themselves for whatever reason and are willing to accept assistance and are going to have life. And so apparently I just haven't gotten enough of it yet. I want to be part of a person's life who is continuing to live in spite of challenges and losses and independence and transportation issues, etc. So
that is awesome. What I love about your platform, Christine, is that you are bringing aging out into the open, dispelling myths about aging. And folks, let me tell you, life goes by real fast. When I was 16 and 17, I worked in a nursing home. That's 50 years ago because I'm 66 right now. And I'll be 67 in December. And I thought back then, these people are 65 and up. They are really old. Because back then, 65-year-old people, a lot of them looked old. And I'm thinking, oh, they look old. That's old. And now that I am going to be 67, 70 and 80 are looking real young to me. And the myths of aging, when I hear now about aging in place and senior citizens, I'm like, well, that's me now. That's my age group. And I don't think of myself as a senior citizen. I don't think of myself as old. And, I think the baby boomers, such as myself, we're changing aging. We're changing what aging looks like, how we want to live. And I just think that you are bringing it out in the open. And I really want to encourage my audience, you're going to have to go on Christine's website and watch her show, because she has experts, like I said before, and it will change your mind about aging. And I have to say, at 60, well, soon to be 67, I have had a new appreciation for life like I've never had before. Matt was 66 when he died. My brother was 67. And you just learn a new appreciation for life after caregiving and after you have lost loved ones, especially when they're young. And my mom, who passed away in March, she was 2 weeks shy of her 94th birthday and was active until right before she died. Pretty mentally alert, played games. Before she was wheelchair bound, she went out with the assisted living once a week or whenever they went out, and she lived a full life. Excuse me.
Oh my goodness! I just this week had a conversation, and the person said, "Let me tell you, I knew this lady, and at 87." She knew that she had advanced cancer, and at the same time, she knew that she had been invited to give a keynote presentation. And on her way back on the plane, because cancer has kind of a domino effect, those dominoes started falling inside of her, medically speaking. That's my way of saying it. And she passed away on the airplane after she delivered a keynote presentation.
Wow.
And I'm just thinking, what a way to go.
Yeah.
If the people on that plane knew this person lived and lived and lived, and the only thing that stopped them from living was their last breath, rather than, oh, I'm just too old to do, I can't do what I used to, so I may as well just let inertia take over. So, yes, dispelling the myths of, if that's the number of birthdays you have, then you should not do this anymore. You should dress this way. And we still see that in advertising. How to make yourself, I'm going to say it this way, Betsy, how to make sure you fool other people into thinking that you're not as old as you are, because being your age is not acceptable. It's like, oh, yeah. That's not going to sell any wrinkle cream right there.
That's right.
Excuse me, I'm in trouble. I'm bad. I'm no longer part of this life, because I dared to continue to be alive, and it shows.
I said, I'm not going down without a fight.
But don't think that you have to fool other people into thinking that I'm not as old as I am, because you're going to judge me. You're going to have a bias or an expectation on me. Betsy, I don't mind if someone reaches out and says, oh, can I hold the door for you, or as I was climbing out of a ride at an amusement park, someone offered me a hand to get out. Well, a hand was being offered to everyone. You can choose to accept a little help. I'm grateful because sometimes my joints aren't on the same wavelength as what my mind wants to do next. So I'm grateful.
Yes.
I'm grateful for assistance, and especially when I was assisting very independent people, and that person would say, I feel, and they would say something negative. And I said, you know what, if the roles were reversed, I think you would do the same for me. And it would take them aback, just enough for me to say, if I was getting over a surgery, or I found out that I had a chronic condition that was progressing, or, you know what, I was just kind of bruised up from, some crazy stunt I decided to pull, I would be so grateful for your assistance. And then we go on talking, and I can offer assistance because we're in this together, mutually helping each other to know, what can we do next, or how can we make this faster or less uncomfortable or whatever. And it really, I would see a smile every time. If our roles were reversed, I know you would do the same for me. And I don't know, that's just love and kindness and lifting a little bit off of one person's shoulder, no different than saying, hey, let me do the dishes. And it's like, oh, good, it's not because I'm not capable, it's just you're being kind.
Yes, I've so many times, Christine, on this show, and I know it may sound redundant, but I don't care because this is how I feel, and I'm a Jersey girl, so I say it how it is. Live your life. Even if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, make the most of the time that you have. Do what you enjoy. Go out. Do what you can while you still can do it, and live your life. I have interviewed this year alone, I must have interviewed 3 or 4 people at least that are in their 80s that were still writing books. So it's just a number. It's just really a number. And my mom, it was funny, she said, oh, I didn't think I'd live to be this old. And it's a shame that she died 2 weeks before her 94th birthday because she was looking forward to seeing everyone. And you just live and enjoy your life. And I think the people that are active, who, especially people, maybe you have seen this, Christine, people who help serve others, people who help others have a better attitude. They have a better, they might even, I don't know, it's not scientifically proven, maybe they live longer because their mind is on helping other people, not themselves.
I think that's one of the blue zone things. I think the areas where so many people are living beyond, significantly beyond, and a significant number of the population in that area. And it's like, is it the water? Is it the air? Is it the elevation? And they're finding things like having a deep faith and living it out. So you're knowing your core values. You're knowing, what you are about and what you do that makes a difference, or there's a reason for you being there. And I think that another one of those was the whole social aspect, because when you're reaching out to someone to help in some way, you're either helping alongside other helpers and you've got that camaraderie, or that person that you just reached out to ends up investing in your life something amazing, telling you a story from their past or something. And I made a difference. If I had not been there, the soup line would have been slower, or they didn't know how to get that microphone to work, and I did, or something. If I hadn't been there, something would have been missing, or at least slowed down. And, you know, what a thought to go to sleep with, the good that you've done, rather than going to sleep saying, oh, another day tomorrow. Gosh, I hope I sleep most of the day away because it'll go so slowly, alone, doing nothing, contributing nothing. But this is the thing I'm going to take from what you said about your mom. You said that she was so looking forward to everyone coming for her 94th birthday. And I think, isn't that wonderful? She was ready, anticipating being with everyone rather than going, no, nothing for me. Let's just let the day pass by unannounced because that's so old and I just don't want to be reminded that I've gotten this far. Yay for her. Yay for your mom.
Thank you. I think that it's just, you know what, folks, I love to go to the park and I go on the swing. I don't care what anyone thinks. And one great thing about it is you get older, you don't care anymore what people think. Like, I'm much more relaxed in my own skin. There's so much wisdom that comes with age that, and you're never too old to change. You know, they say, oh, we can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yes, you can. I've changed. 60 was really my turning point, and I really have changed my life for the better, and going through my caregiving journey with Matt definitely changed my life for the better. And, you know, people say, well, how can you say that? Because it's true. I found my gifts, I found my voice, and I'm using them. And I think when people have a purpose, Christine, it really helps them feel better about themselves. And, you know, after Matt died, I would do videos, and I'd say, yeah, I could sit here and feel sorry for myself, but what good does that do for me or anyone else? And if I didn't let Alzheimer's defeat me during caregiving, I certainly wasn't going to give it the power after Matt had died. Alzheimer's was not going to defeat me. That was my mindset. And I just think that people need to dispel the myths of aging. You know, keep yourself healthy, do your exercises, eat right, do what you could do to fight what's in your family history. I mean, some things you can't control, but there's some things that you can control. And live your best life up until you die. Live and enjoy your life.
You heard it here, folks. Betsy's right. Did not let Alzheimer's defeat her. Oh. Can I put in a plug for just a giant resource for everyone? And maybe you've had some of these volunteer editors, or not editors, they're volunteer book readers. Have you ever had anyone from All's Authors?
No, not that I know of.
So it's ALZ. So as soon as you see ALZ, you know it's about Alzheimer's. And
right.
Alzheimer's authors, before it was popular, they got to know each other from a distance, and they were bonded together by the fact that they had each written a memoir, or at least started to write a memoir of their time caring for, I believe each one of them, it was a parent. And that has grown into over 300 authors, podcasters, independent filmmakers, creators of, informative, it's just like your show, educational, entertaining, what's your other word? Educational, entertaining, enlightening.
Oh, enlightening, yes.
Yes. And so they have been approached by other people who said, For example, one lady said, my father kept notes all the time that he was caring for my mother. And as he approached the end of his life, he tasked me with take these notes and make a book out of it for other people and don't pull any of the punches. This is me.
Oh,
this is
yes.
your mom. Yes.
Yes, Get in the Boat. Is that the book you're talking about?
Got it. Darlene?
Yes. Yes, I have interviewed people from Alzheimer's authors. Yes. She was on the show, I believe, this year or last year. Yes, Get in the Boat.
The bell for you. There's over 300 different authors. They've written guides like how to do it. They've written how to talk about what's going on with the grandparent to the grandchildren. You know, they've created a magazine that your dementia, what would you say, that your dementia diagnosed loved one still loves to turn pages, but the newspaper is just a jumble of information there, you know, and so here's Mirador that's been created, you know, and I just think, oh, right there. And now they're starting to get into the filmmakers and everything. And it's better to be informed. Just better. No one ever says, I just wish I had not been so well prepared before that crisis occurred. You know,
yeah,
like,
that's Christine. Yes, you are a girl after my own heart because I always harp on education and advocacy because I know firsthand, Christine, the difference between being knowledgeable and not. Because with my mother-in-law, 25 years ago, 25 years ago, I never heard the word Alzheimer's, and I was a nurse. I didn't know what came with all that. I didn't know about sundowning, hallucination. I didn't know anything. And there wasn't much information at that time. And then fast forward with Matt, there still wasn't much information 14 years ago. So caregivers, there's a wealth of information out there. And being that the Jersey girl that I am, I always say this. If you're not educating yourself, you're being foolish. It's so important to educate yourself. And don't say, oh, I don't have time, because you do have the time. Because if you binge on Netflix or whatever else, you could watch a video. You could listen to a podcast. I had to do it in segments with earplugs in my ears because Matt didn't want to hear anyone's voice. So where there's a will, there's a way. And it's important to be well informed because you will have a much better journey, and so will your loved one, and less stress when you are informed and educated.
So the proverb that a journey of 1,000 steps begins with just the first one. And for a lot of people, that first step is, well, your brain has one of the dementia diseases, and if you're only given the information of make sure that your financial affairs are in order, your will is written, you might continue to live for 17 more years. So here you are, I'm not you, Betsy, but here is a person who's been told this is the way things are going to go. And it's like, so do we just stop? Just stop everything? Or like you, the one that I clicked on, you had a person talking about dementia-friendly airports. And it's like, well, what if we want to continue? And then I've had someone on Aspects of Aging, Aging Better Network is the resource website, who has created dementia cruises that are just chock full of seminars that the caregivers can go to, and at the same time, the boat is full of trained medically trained, dementia-trained caregiving people who are hired to make sure that nobody feels alone or that they can't leave their loved one to just go and sit with other caregivers and go, oh my goodness, I laughed, I cried, I got information, I got new friends. We're going to be contacting each other in the years to come as we are all caregiving at home. I'm not alone. I'm less alone. Just all, just going, she said, as far as I know, this is the only cruise of its sort in the world.
Yes, and I interviewed Catherine.
Good.
Yes, I interviewed Catherine. Catherine Show.
This is your stuff that's never going to get to Aging Better Network. And they're going to go, guess what I discovered?
The Elite, right? It's Elite Cruises.
Yeah.
I think that's the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had interviewed Catherine this year. So, folks, that's why you need to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, because I have experts on here. And you're missing out if you don't listen to my show, if I have to say so myself. Christine, you are just a gem. And I can't believe how fast the time has gone. I would love for you to come on my show again next year, because there's just so much more to talk about. You're just a wealth of information. And please tell the audience your website, how they could get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So let's see. To get a hold of me directly, it's Christine, and that's CH, Christine at PreActYourAge.com. And Betsy, if I said to you, act your age, not your, how would you finish it?
We used to say act your age, not your shoe size.
Exactly. And I said to a group of people, a chamber of commerce, and some of them said act your, not your IQ. And I'm going to have to think about that one, because it's always shoe size. Yes. So I'm advocating what Betsy is advocating, that being a pre-planner, being a person who has already written down how you want to age, how I'm into the act part. You can hear it in the title, yes. The Act of Aging, which you can find at agingbetterNetwork.com. You can find the books, and you don't have to figure out, how do I tell Amazon it's CareGRIEVER Kit, not Caregiver Kit, because it keeps auto-correcting. Those links are right there. Click, and you are there. The other book is PreAct Your Age Prompted Journal, and that is for you, the person that you are right now, you, at any age, to look at, you open the book anywhere you want. There's going to be a 2-page spread left and right, and here will be a general challenge that comes along with looking older than perhaps one other person, someone else in your realm, has a preconceived notion, an assumption, because you look this age, or you have said that you're that age, or other people they've known who have reached that birthday. And so you get to go through and go, this is the way I would like to handle that challenge. This is the way I would like my relationships to continue to be resilient. This is the way I would like for me to respond in an emotionally intelligent way to realizing, oh my goodness, this is actually an issue now with me. And I always say, yep, after you react, because I'm going to react if I hit an issue and I think, really? This is kind of young for me to be hitting this, or, oh, I thought I took all the right vitamins so that this wouldn't happen to me. And then it's like, wait a minute, what do I really now, stop, be calm. How do I really want this to affect my social circles, and how do I plan to handle this in a way that I don't start to question my own self going, well, I guess I'm just too old for everything now. Because I've seen those people. I've been around those people who are just throw their hands in the air and go, forget it. Forget everything because I'm just too old.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
it's just what a waste of a human being. Just don't make yourself that way. So I gave you how to get a hold of me. On LinkedIn, I am Christine _Smith. So I wear a hat now. I helped with something, and they said, oh, it's the hat lady. I found a lost child. And it's like, the hat lady has your child. It's okay, the hat lady. And I went, I'll just wear hats more often because, well, my scalp gets pink more often now. I used to have hair, and I thought it works out. So when you find me wearing my hat, you'll know you've gotten to the right Christine Smith, because there's just an awful lot of Smiths out there. So Christine Smith. Betsy, I am so grateful as we're wrapping up this hour.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. Christine's been wanting to have you on, and definitely we'll have to have you on again next year. I'm already booking for February, so I will send you some dates. Excuse me.
Oh, good. I turned 65. I turned 65 in February.
Oh.
So I'll be able to go, look, I'm in one piece, because I do remember, too, thinking, 65? Is there
Medicare?
anything beyond 65 when you're a child and your grandparents are, 65, 70? Wow,
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, it's time for a Medicare card? You got to be kidding me. But I just want to encourage the audience, go on the website. Everything about Christine A. Smith will be in the blog that Jeannie White, who's the station manager, writes, and Jeannie produces the show. So thank you, Jeannie, for what you do. And always have to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passion World Talk Radio Network, who makes this all possible. And thank you to the listeners for listening, subscribing, sharing. Please share this show to help other people. I'm here to help others. I'm here to provide resources. I want to help as many people as possible. I can only do it if you help me. So please share the show, and I appreciate it. And when you do it, you're doing it. You're honoring my husband, Matt. So I know he's appreciating that from heaven. And I would like it if you would follow me, if you want to, on Facebook, Betsy E. Wurzel, Wurzel. And I have a Facebook support group, #Kick, Alzheimer's Ass Movement. Everyone is welcome. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind, shine your light bright, because we need it now more than ever before. And until we chat again, be kind, be safe. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Bye-bye now.